Most of the time when there are things that are bothering you, so let's say you have those 10 things and one of them is going well and 9 of them are not. And as you focus on any of those 9, you use those as your excuse to create a grid that doesn't line up with this one, that doesn't allow the flow from the vortex in, that doesn't allow the grid to fill in with what you're wanting. But if you focus upon the one thing that feels good, even if you have to go general to do it, as you focus upon that one, now you create what kind of a grid? And when you create that kind of a grid, then you get movement on the other 9. Create in advance by pre-paving more than trying to fix things that are broken. Because when you're trying to fix one of those 9 things that isn't going very well, you're off in the weeds. When you're trying to fix one of those, you're usually trying to fill in your own grid from a vibrational stance that won't allow it to fill in the way you want it to. So you're just adding more power to the grid that you don't want.
Right.
Where if you will do what we have called pre-paving, which is just imagine into the future. Imagine it being more the way you want it to be. But be really, really, really general.
Okay.
You see, you've just lost a little bit of confidence because you've been observing the what isness and it's got your attention. And now you've got a sort of cycle going because you've been observing it and offering a vibration about it, so you're getting more of it. And that's why you want to pronounce that most things aren't going well and very few of them are going well. But we want you to know that in all of this, that there's so much in your vortex that will fill in as you find some way somehow to just go general on everything that doesn't feel really good. And be as specific as you can be on the things that do feel good. And then just pre-pave it. Do you know what we mean by that?
I do.
Start generally by saying things like, well, it will get better.
Right.
And if that puts a knot in your stomach because you don't believe it, then say, well, I know it's gotten better for some. And if that puts a knot in your stomach because you know it got better for them because you think they were doing something in a better way than you were, then say, I'm going to figure this out. Or I've been here before on some things and I did get a smoother ride eventually. Just keep talking until you give yourself that release. And as you find that release, then you know you've released resistance. But when we say we would pre-pave it, now that's the work that we're encouraging you to do when you're aware that you've got some resistance that you want to let go of. If we were standing in your physical shoes, we'd put ourselves in bed at night. And we would say, I'm not going to think about this. I don't have to think about this. I'm just going to get a good night's sleep. And then do your best to sleep. And when you awaken in the morning, sit for 15 minutes with the intention of just quieting your mind. And say to yourself, this is my process where I don't think of anything. And if I think of anything, I'll just breathe it away. But I'm not wanting to think of anything. This is my process where I'm just not going to think of anything. I'm just going to focus on my breathing. For 15 minutes, no big deal. I'm just going to relax. This is the beginning of my grid work. I'm just going to relax. I don't have to make anything happen. Everything's in the vortex. It's flowing to me in perfect order. I'm just working on my grid. This is the best I can do right here, right now. It's the best thing that I can do. And in doing this, I'm pre-paving for future experience. Now, what's going to happen as soon as the first day that you do that, go to bed that night and wake up the next morning and sit to meditate and get into that quiet general place, the first day that you do that, your grid will fill in with something that you will associate with that small work that you've done. And your confidence will come right back. And as the grid fills in, what's going to happen is it's going to be perfect in this sense. It's not going to be more specific than you're allowing. But it might not be as specific as you think you want it to be. Did you hear that? It will never be more specific than you're allowing because the law of attraction won't allow that. So it won't be more specific than you're allowing, and it might not be as specific as you want it to be. But that's where you start doing your work. You don't go there. You don't try to fill it in. You don't try to hammer it into place. You don't try to wrestle it to the ground. You just say, hey, I did my work. This is all I need to do on this right now. Nothing more for me to do. Nothing more for me to do. I left it in the perfect place. And as the grid fills in with more specifics, then you can revel in that, you see. Okay. And before you know it, all 9 of those subjects, or however many of them they are, you'll have that little experience with them, and you'll just incrementally move every one of them to new and improved place, to new and improved place, until the manifestations will be so obvious that you will know for sure you've got the hang of this. Let's use the word momentum every time we think of grid, because your grid is your point of attraction and it is filling in. And sometimes, because of what you've been living, you've parlayed a moment in time to a very specific momentum. And it's just better to just let that momentum happen. But that's when, as we were saying to our friend earlier, you want to prepave for the next one. So all of your parenting tools, every trick in your parenting bag of tricks, if we were standing in your physical shoes, would be held in the prepaving, in the deciding what tomorrow is going to be, rather than trying to fix the momentum of today. Because as you go general, in other words, you can't get general enough to soothe yourself in the middle of that high-pitched tantrum. You just can't. Because everything about it has you knowing what you don't want more than it has you knowing what you do want. And you just can't get there from there, not right now, this red hot minute. So just have the experience and know that, as we were saying earlier, you've put all kinds of new clarity into your vortex. And what's in there? What did that tantrum just put into your vortex? What piece of creation? What specific piece? What powerfully moving specific piece did that tantrum just put into your vortex? But specifically right now, you're putting, I'd like some peace and quiet. Specifically, you're putting, I would like more cooperation. Specifically, you're putting, I would like more cooperation from other members of the family who are in some ways exacerbating this. It didn't have to go that far. You're just shoveling it in there fast in the middle of all of that, aren't you? And so if you accept that this is not the moment in time to do something about it, but instead, as our friend was saying earlier, revel in the knowledge that your negative emotion is your indicator that good things are happening, and later you will be the recipient of those good things that are happening. Now that's what prepaving is, isn't it? Isn't prepaving anticipating future receipt of some specific manifestation that will be pleasing to you when it comes? Isn't that what prepaving really is? So you just go as general as you can. You'll just sort of relax and laugh at the inevitability of this playing out. But what you're putting in your vortex is fewer of these. More time between them. Less volume when they happen. More understanding from everyone, until it won't be long until you'll be looking at that from inside the vortex through the eyes of Source, just sort of reveling in what this little one is putting in the vortex. Alignment no matter what. So after a few days of this, you'll find yourself laughing during the tantrum. It will, and you'll be laughing for these reasons. You'll be laughing because stuff's going in the vortex and they don't know it, and it will be reminiscent of what you've been doing too. You'll be laughing because you're through the main discomfort of it. You've come out into the light so that you're looking at it through the eyes of Source. You'll be laughing because you'll be wondering why it took you so long to get to this place. When we say we want you to be happy about your own discord because it's an indication of your guidance system, when you know what you don't want, you really know what you do want. And when you really know what you do want and you're not there, you're nervous, you're uncomfortable, you're fitful, you're pensive, you're sharp with your tongue, you don't smile as much, you're in a bad mood. In other words, your tantrums are maybe displayed differently, but everybody is having them. And it's a good thing, because we would never, ever, ever, ever want any of you to acclimate to unwanted to such a degree that you don't know that you're in a place of creating something that you do not want. People say, oh, it just came out of the blue. And we say, no, it didn't. It came out of the oblivious. And the reason it came out of the oblivious is because you're not sharpening your desires, you see. Those tantrums are when you really, really, really know what you don't want. You really, really know what you do want. And if you wait, and there's a big vibrational difference between one and the other, then the discord is stronger. But the coming into alignment is sweeter. We think you like the drama of it, all of it. But if you want a little less drama, then you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, you line up with it. You've got it. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want, you line up with it. You've got it. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want, you line up with it. You've got it. You can play it any way you want, you see. The kids would play it more that way if you all were not getting in their way so much. Because the universe will deliver to all of you exactly what you want. Your grids are filling in, you see. So let's start in another place. So let's say that you are moving through life experience and things are bothering you. Like our friend had 9 things that were not going well and something that is going well, but she's chronically, or you're chronically involved in the 9 things that aren't. And so your attention is upon those. So without really being too aware of it, you've got more resistance going on than you think you do, than you want to admit to.
Right.
So through all of that process, and if you're particularly active, if you're particularly involved in life experience, then you're launching lots of rockets of desire. And so your vortex is spinning, your stream is moving fast, who you really are is vibrating at this high pure place. But more and more things you're using as your excuse to not be vibrationally up to speed with that. Mm-hmm. So then, in the same way that you are really not aware that you were specifically creating and specifically holding yourself apart from what you're wanting, you're also probably not aware that you're giving attention specifically to things that you're pushing against. And the way things manifest, wanted or unwanted, something specific does not come to someone who hasn't activated the specifics of that vibration within them. That's just the powerful, clear, law-based statement that we must make. And what we really want you to hear is that nothing ever happens that is a vibrational mismatch to what's going on. So the discordant part of it is a misunderstanding of what really was going on vibrationally. Let's start in this place. Sometimes you don't really know that you want something until you really know that you don't want something.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you don't really know that you don't want something until you really know that you want something. Mm-hmm. And so attention to what you want. Sometimes you're picking up that stick thinking that you're giving your attention to what you do want without realizing that you're pushing against what you do not want. Yeah. We don't want to get too heavy into this. You said it's a heavy subject because this is one of the reasons that we moved from calling this gathering the art of allowing rather than the science of deliberate creation. Because as you get so specifically focused, as you try to contemplate every single thought that you're thinking and put it into some sort of category about whether I thought it more than others, we just want you to understand that nothing manifests that is out of vibrational whack with what you've got going on. This analogy that we're going to offer you here is going to answer your question completely. You may have heard us say that what manifests is always a vibrational match to what you're thinking and feeling. It always is. And then we take it further, and it's easy for you to understand this, that what manifests in your dream state, what you're dreaming about, is also a manifestation of what you're thinking and what you're feeling. But we want you to focus for just a little bit that your dream and your real life experience, but it's easier to hear it about the dream. Your dream is showing you a perfect representation of the essence of what you've got going on vibrationally. But the details fill in with what you've been thinking about recently. Sometimes people say, I had this dream and it was weird because it was people I didn't really know, or it was about this specific thing that I saw that on television the other day, or I saw that in a magazine the other day. So you're filling in the details with stuff that's still active within you. But the happening within it and the way the dream caused you to feel is the true meat and substance of the creation, as is what's manifesting. And so the details of it, they're just the filler. I say. It's sort of like the plot to the movie is the plot. Right. And then they put all that other stuff in just to make you feel like you got your money's worth with all the action scenes. If you are standing in your humanness and you are looking at where you think non-physical is and trying to contemplate what's going on there, that's not graspable, because you, from where you are standing, can't achieve a vibrational frequency to put you out there where you think out there is.
Exactly. Yeah.
But when you are in your now, focused upon something that's happening right here and now, and you are feeling vitality and enthusiasm and love, you're grasping what non-physical is focused upon.
Okay.
Esther said to Jerry, she's visiting with him from time to time, she said to him, I think about you all the time. And he said, how do you know It's you thinking about me and not me thinking about you.
But
stay there with that for just a little bit, because you're trying to separate what's non-physical from you rather than understanding that it's integrating with you. It's integrating with